Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about verbs. Specifically, we're going to talk about the present tense system, which consists of three different tenses. There is the present tense, of course, no surprise there, and then the imperfect tense and the future tense. We put these together into the present system because you form all three of these tenses in the same way. But before we look at the tenses, we need to take a quick look at our verb chart. The verb chart shows us the different possibilities that exist for the subject of our verb. So of course the subject of a verb can be singular or it can be plural. You can have one person performing the action of the verb or more than one, two or a million. It can be plural. And then the subject of a verb can be first person, that is, the person speaking is doing the action of the verb. It can be second person, the person being spoken to is doing the action of the verb. Or it can be third person, someone else is doing the action of the verb other than the speaker or the one being spoken to. In English, we simply use our personal pronouns to express these different types of subjects. So the first person singular is I am talking. The first person plural is we are learning Latin. The second person singular is you are watching a video. In Texas, for the second person plural, we like to use the word y'all are watching a video. And then the third person singular, it's he or she or it, depending on the gender of the subject. He, she, or it is watching a video, and the plural is simply they. They are watching a video, they are learning Latin. Now, in Latin, we don't have to use these pronouns or their Latin equivalents. Instead of adding a pronoun to the beginning of a verb, we can simply put an ending on, you guessed it, the end of a verb. So our present tense endings are ost, mus, tis, unt. If the subject of the sentence is first person and singular, in English we would use the pronoun I. In Latin we simply add the ending o. If it's you, second person singular, we add the ending s, and so forth all the way down to third person plural, they, but instead of using a pronoun, we add the ending unt onto the end of a verb. When we do that with a verb, we follow a simple process. We take the infinitive form of a verb, like amare. That's the form that ends in the letters re. And then we chop off the re and we add our endings. So we add ost, mus, tis, unt to ama. Now the long O in the first person singular causes the A to disappear. I like to say that the O eats the A, but everywhere else you can see a pretty clear pattern of the ending being added to ama. Amo, amos, amat, amamus, amatus, amant. So amo means I love or I am loving. Amos means you love or you are loving. Amat means he, she, it loves or he, she, it is loving. Amamus means we love or we are loving. Amatus means y'all love or y'all are loving. Amant means they love or they are loving. Now, when we have a verb like amare, where the stem of the verb, that which comes before the re in the infinitive form, when the stem ends in an a, we call that a first conjugation verb. That a is also called a connecting vowel. But some of our verbs have a different infinitive form. Some of them end in ere rather than are. If that e is long in the middle, we call it a second conjugation verb. But we follow the same pattern with the present tense. We take off the re, and then we add our present tense endings to what's left. So we end up with wideo, wides, widet, widemus, widetus, wident. After the present tense, we have the imperfect tense. The imperfect tense is a type of past tense, but it indicates an ongoing action in the past. So when we translate the imperfect, we're going to use the words was or were, or we can substitute the words used to. So with the imperfect tense, we still have our present tense endings, ost, mus, tis, unt, but the o has been replaced by the letter m. Everywhere else you can still see the st, mus, tis, unt. But in front of these endings, we now have the letters b, a, which are called the imperfect tense marker. I like to think of the letters b, a as being equivalent to our English words was or were. So when I attach these to a verb like amare, I follow the same pattern. I chop off the RE of the infinitive form, and I add my imperfect tense endings, and I end up with amabam, amabas, amabat, amabamus, amabatus, amabant. The BA being equivalent to was or were, and the present tense endings having their same meaning. So amabam is I was loving, amabas, you were loving, amabat, he, she, or it was loving, amabamus, we were loving, amabatus, y'all were loving, and amabant, they were loving. So our present tense endings are ost, mustis unt, and our imperfect tense endings are bom, ba, spot, bomus, batis, spont. We have one other set of endings, though, in the present system, and that's our future tense endings. The tense marker for the future tense, instead of being a BA, are the letters BI. Now the I disappears in front of the O because just as the O likes to eat the A in the present tense, the O likes to eat the I in the future tense. And then for some reason the I changes to a U before the letters NT in the third person plural. But other than that, we simply attach our present tense endings to the future tense marker BI. Bo, bis, bit, bimus, bitis, bunt. Let me say that again. Bo, bis, bit, bimus, bitis, bunt. The process for forming the future tense is the same as we saw for the present tense and the imperfect tense. We take the infinitive form of our verb, amare, we chop off the RE of the infinitive, and then we add our future tense endings. So we end up with amabo, amabis, amabit, amabamus, amabitus, amabunt. Amabo means I will love, amabis means you will love, amabit means he, she, or it will love, amabamus means we will love, amabitus means y'all will love, and amabunt means they will love. So, the endings that we've learned are ost, mus, tis, unt. These are our present tense endings. And then bom, ba, spot, bomus, batis, spont. These are our imperfect tense endings, our ongoing past tense. And then lastly, bo, bis, bit, bimus, bitis, bunt, our future tense endings. Hope this video has been helpful. I'll see you next time.
Mm-hmm.